There we go, there we go, there we go. That's long enough to let you all wander in. Now, jazz hand rules apply today. There'll be points of contention if anyone needs to interject in the conversation, or what should be a bit of a lecture, really, since it's just me here. But yeah, we're going to have a little bit of fun today. We're going to dip our toe back into the world of madness and craziness that makes up the wokeness out there. And you're not going to believe what's offending people now. You truly aren't. But we'll get into that in good time. Because you know how we roll here. We come into the chat room, we give you all a little shout out, and we've got our Rogues Gallery. It's back in working order. And Ben Mack, he's the latest member of the Rogues Gallery down there. It's dead simple. You don't have to pay me heaps of money or anything. All you got to do is send me an emoji, and I'll put you on the screen. I'll make you your own emoji star. All right? I promise. So, yeah, Ben Mack, when you see him coming up on the screen, maybe it's just me, but he definitely looks a little bit like PewDiePie. I'm just saying, maybe it's Pewdie. Maybe if he would give us a shout out on his big channel, we would go, psh, interstellar. But, no, it's going to be good fun today. We're kicking back, we're relaxing before we get joined by my good friend, Don Wiskin, all the way from Canada. Phone lines will be open for you to speak to Don and I on the main Kev Baker show today, just in an hour and a half time from now. We've still got a bit of tunes on in the background. I do hear it, folks. I left it purposely. Try to get the levels right here, you know. So I'm going into the chat room. We have got ZX is in there. Yeah, I've probably included typos. My typos are bad, dude. I should really be registered dyslexic, but I can't read the form to fill it out. Go figure. So we've got Bernays sauce in there. Bernays, I seen you hanging about on another stream I was on yesterday. I can't remember which one it was. We've got Tessa in there. Cheryl, big shout out to you, Cheryl. Jules, big shout out to Jules as well. Murder a coffee, Jules, really could. We have got Greg in there. Sam, the Wookiee. Edward, back to work you. That has definitely passed your time, right? What joking, brother. We have got one Polynation. Big shout out to you, homie. We've also got the Wookiee. Might have done the Wookiee, don't know, but big shout out anyway. ZX, definitely done you. Ronald Penton. Who else we got up here? Bearded. Bearded was the first today. I know that. Big shout out to Bearded, a fellow Glaswegian madman. We've got Onslow. Yes, indeedy. The Onslow. I like that name. Becky. Becky is officially on leave of absence from work. Now, before you start saying, yay, free time, maybe not. Oh, alcohol might be required. Because for the next 90 days, she has to teach her 9-year-old at home. So many people getting used to that very scenario right now. But if you want to help Becky, she is accepting tequila donations. Quite right as well. So we've got, who else in here? Jose Ramon Francis. Love that name, man. Armand, good to see you. Might even pull up that crazy little story you sent me from the BBC the other day. I'll need to take a note of that. Hang on. People could see the word I've writ there, or wrote, sorry, since we're going to be talking about punctuation in a moment. The word I have written down, they would think, how on earth's name does that remind Kev of what the heck he's going to talk about later in the show? Because I'm weird, I'm two guys at once, I'm Dave, I'm Kev, and Nacy! Nacy is in the chat room. Hope you're still having a good day out there, Nacy. And he's going to be coming on KBS. First week in... Oh, hang on. Wow. Oh, wow. Wow. That might come up on the show later on. But that was some breaking news from the world of AI. We might get into that. But who else have we got in here? I think that's about us for now. Dr. Respect. I still wish you would be like Dr. Disrespect. I really would. Only because I'd love to capture 1% of your fans. But Dr. Respect, you'll do me, brother. Every day. We need a doctor in the house, right? Every stream needs a doctor in the house. Especially with what we're going to be talking about today. Because this kind of thing, it makes my head hurt. It makes my eyes bleed when I read it. And it triggers me no end. And you know how I'm really, really tight with Scotty Lopez. We're like two peas in a pod. He doesn't send me many links, but when Scott sends me a link, I know exactly what he's trying to do. I know. I see what he's up to. I absolutely see his motives. He tries to trigger me. And he sent me a cracker. He really did. And we're going to be talking about that. The latest thing that they're going to try and ban, try and outlaw. Because in the year 2020, it has come to light that people get intimidated by the most innocuous of things. And today, we're certainly going to be taking a look at something that falls into that category. Now, I remember talking with various people a few years ago, more specifically, when we first really got into the smartphones and texting and everything else. And myself and many others discussed on their shows the fact that language itself, the English language, the written language, it was becoming ridiculous. We had new words appearing all the time, amazeballs, adorbs, all that kind of jazz. And we had this thing called text speak that started to develop, right? LOL, you know, all that kind of stuff. All kind of little acronyms that you use, leaving the E's off words, and really ruining and wrecking the English spoken word, and probably other languages as well. Well, we've obviously now got a generation that's been brought up texting and using text speak. And now, ladies and gentlemen, would you be surprised? Probably not, but would you be surprised to learn what is intimidating young people from Generation Z, as they call them? The humble question mark. No, it's not. It's the humble full stop. Yes, it is. I don't know where I got question mark from there. It's probably because my head is full of questions over this madness. Let's take a look at what's going on here, folks. You couldn't make this up, honestly. And we come to one of Scotland's, I don't want to say more reputable, but yeah, more reputable kind of newspapers, websites nowadays. And as you can see here, young people are intimidated by full stops in text messages. And not only that, we've got like universities like Cambridge actually dedicating time to studying this phenomenon and just how much it's affecting people. The humble full stop. I'm not making this up. I really ain't making this up. I've highlighted a couple of paragraphs here that we'll stop and we'll kind of talk about. But to give you the basics here, if you're struggling to see the logic in this, then I'm in your boat. However, when you start to read into it, it becomes a bit more clear what they're talking about and a bit more worrying as well. Because if people are literally intimidated and left in a state of shock because one of their friends dares to use a full stop on a text message, then I think we're rapidly slipping into a really, really dodgy place here, folks. I mean, I've joked before about how long is it going to be before we're basically resorting to grunting and emojis to communicate with one another. You know, you can bring Orwell's Newspeak into this as well. You know, how if you can control a language and you can control how people think, then you know how that all goes, right? So it says as social media and instant messaging become ever more ubiquitous, the way we're communicating is changing. See? Gonna have to start grunting soon. New words regularly crop up to define new online phenomena. More breaking news. And even the way that we use punctuation is constantly evolving. Take, for instance, there we go, the humble full stop. Now, if me even saying the word full stop or the two words full stop is triggering anyone out there, I make no apology for it. Okay, no apology is coming your way. No, deal with it. Man up, woman up. It's only a punctuation mark, for goodness sake. And banning periods, you know? Not that kind of... You get where I'm going. Years ago, it was simply the signifier of an end of a sentence, and I don't know what world whoever's writing this in lives in, but it's not like years ago. It still is the end of a sentence, okay? Don't be taking my full stops away. That might be the line, or it might be, have they crossed the dot? Would you say they've crossed the dot if they take the full stop away as opposed to the line? Is it a dotted line? Is it perforated? My line kind of moves. I don't know where I am at some days. But it says, but in the internet age, the punctuation mark could actually be having an adverse effect on youngsters.
How dare you?
No, Greta, not me. Not me this time. It's the full stops that's affecting people like you. It's triggering you. You are left in a state of, why did people use a full stop? So it says, if you send a text message without a full stop, it's already obvious that you've concluded the message, says Dr. Lauren Fontaine, an assistant professor at the Netherlands Leiden University studying language change. In fact, because we've grown used to communicating without full stops, choosing to use one could actually be causing young people who have grown up with a less universal use of the punctuation mark distress? Really? Punctuation mark is causing people distress? You see why I say we could be in for serious problems, folks? Serious problems. If you add the additional marker for completion, they will read something into it, and it tends to be a falling intonation or negative tone, said Dr. Fontaine. I think Dr. Fontaine really needs to find something more valuable to spend her time studying. However, do you see my point here? Point, full stop. It makes me want to use full stops more. I've never, considered the use of punctuation to be some rebellious act, but in the year of 2020, it would seem so. I mean, how many of you people out there, right, if you've been communicating with maybe somebody my age on text, you see full stops all the time. Does it leave you, quivering on the sofa? Are you scared of what I've just said to you? Does it make you read in between the lines or in between the pixels of the punctuation mark? It's getting ridiculous, folks. You couldn't make it up. So it says here in 2016 Washington Post story entitled Using Periods, Period. Economics writer Jeff Gao, or Guo, or Gao, strange name. That name triggers me. Get a properly spelt name. I feel distressed looking at that half-finished name. So it's concluded that the line break is now a default method of punctuation in texting. Full stops, he said, can cause the message to be perceived as cold, angry, or passive-aggressive. If anyone... if anyone's sitting there and they have to pause at a full stop, I mean, it's designed to make you pause, take a breath, and then continue talking, right? But if you're actually sitting there worried, maybe you'll even phone a friend. Oh, hey, Scotty, what do you think this means? Joe Joseph put a full stop in a sentence to me. Damn, dude, what have I done to him? Has that ever happened? I mean, I've got a son in the room. He's 18, Generation Z, or whatever hell the name you want to put on it. He's never come into the room, or out the room sweating and, in a bit of a panic because somebody's throwing a punctuation mark in a text message at him. What the hell is going on? What are they teaching people? See now how this text speak can be damaging, folks. So it says here, people easily convey social and emotional information with eye gaze, facial expressions, tone of voice, pause, and so on. That makes sense. That's the first thing that's made sense in this entire article. And it's the research lead, Celia Klin, said at the time. People obviously can't use these mechanisms when they're texting. Well, that puts you into the genius category then. Thus, it makes sense that texters rely on what they have available to them. Emoticons, deliberate misspellings that mimic speech sounds, and, according to our data, punctuation. That there. Deliberate misspellings that mimic speech sounds. And you still think I'm stupid for saying we're going to end up being a civilization, a species that communicates via grunts and emojis? And for anyone out there who has been affected by the question mark and things like that, where did I put my picture now? I've got a nice little picture here. Where are we? We go up here so I get the right one. I don't give away any other headlines that we're going to, folks. Come on. There we go. Now this could be very triggering indeed. I expect this image to be outlawed, banned forever. Yep, ZX, good man. Not one period in that A, B, C, D, E, F, G, smiley face, H, I. Yes, exactly. That's pretty much how we're going to be going. At least at this rate, that one letter of the alphabet that I hate, it might actually end up going. It may end up being too offensive. Who knows? But yes, if you can see here, I've got the highly dangerous full stop. Right where it should be, first and foremost, yes. I imagine that the square brackets, or as they've become known in newer, more recent times, the kill brackets. I imagine that might actually offend some people. I don't know why. It just might. It looks quite aggressive. The quotation marks. There'll be some people out there that will complain because these particular quotation marks are leaning left, and they would like some that lean right. And what about the people that want them just to lean down the middle? Never heard of ellipsis marks before, although I do use a lot of them in my titles, actually. ... You know? A hyphen. Oh, it makes my skin crawl looking at that damn thing. It's ridiculous. It truly is ridiculous. And this is kind of in the world of Newspeak, really, isn't it? Because, like I said at the start, you start controlling the way people use language. You literally control how they think. And we're not quite there yet, okay? We're not quite there, but you can see how we're definitely on that slippery slope. And for anyone out there, I don't even think this is a thing. I don't think this is a thing. I think this is one of these things that isn't a thing. But now that they've wrote about it, there'll be people out there, there'll be support groups for people who have been assaulted by punctuation marks. We'll have anti-punctuation mark protests that the governments will support, obviously, because it is all part of their agenda. It truly is, and I don't know. This is right up there with 2 + 2 = 5, because anything else could be deemed racist. And if you think I'm making that up, I'm not. I'm truly not making it up, folks. But where does this end? Where does this end? It might sound a bit ridiculous, me saying we're going to end up with a language where basically we're using nothing more than emojis. And bear in mind, we're only really at the start of the emoji era. I mean, you can see how more and more get added by the day, by the week. Usually different colours or different variations of the same emojis, just so we don't offend anyone out there. How we're going to be able to distinguish the 100+ genders via emojis, that in itself is quite beyond me, but we're going to have to. Why? Because we're going all woke now. This is the woke world. Yes, indeed. Try not to rant and rage. I'm trying to keep it funny. I'm trying not to get too triggered. I bet Jason's out there throwing things at stuff right now. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just can't teach an old dog new tricks. I actually like punctuation. Do you know what triggers me when it comes to spelling and punctuation? When you see the wrong use of punctuation. And you see that more and more and more nowadays. More and more. People just don't know where to put apostrophes. In fact, we might as well do away with the apostrophe. If we're going to do away with things, do away with that. Because the use of that can be quite offensive to anyone that does know how to use apostrophes and the English language. Now, I get it. The English language is pretty much going out the window with everything else. They're going to cancel it. It's a throwback to that empirical times when we have to erase all of that stuff. So, like I say, we'll probably go back to the more neutral caveman Neanderthal grunting system that got us so far. Yeah. Yep. Won't be long. I'm telling you, it won't be long. In fact, maybe you'll have to get a permit to even use language in the future. It wouldn't surprise me. But I've got more stuff that we can get into, folks. It's not quite as woke, and it's a bit weird, though. Really weird, in fact. It's a bit of weird science before we head on over to the main show today. So I'm going to get a drink of coffee. I'm going to calm myself down. I never knew. I honestly never, ever knew that I'd live in a world where the full stop offended anyone. That's the kind of thing you expect to read on April the 1st. Full stops to be outlawed because people are offended. Damn, dude. Maybe we're just going to have to stop communicating altogether. Maybe there's a better way of communicating. Maybe we're on the cusp of doing away with language and written language altogether. Maybe we're all about to be, infused into the Borg mind. It's coming. No need to spell words or any of that when you can just think to other people. Dr. Disrespect is saying, where did that go? Remember the robot emojis in the Doctor Who series? Oh, yes, indeed. You know, I had a nightmare one time. I was getting chased about by a bunch of emojis. I think we use emojis so much that we might be putting life into them. Maybe one day, just randomly, we'll be walking down the street and a big smiley face emoji's just going to appear in front of us. Because why? Because 6 billion people are bloody using them to communicate. Or augmented reality. Probably the latter of the two, but you know what I'm saying. I can turn the stream off now. Somebody has learnt something new today. Sam has learnt that April the 1st used to be regarded as the new year. Yes, so my one goal, my one agenda is that somebody somewhere out there just finds out something new that makes them think about something different or in a different way today. So I think I can just go now, right? Oh, I'm not going anywhere. I'm having too much fun today. We've still got an hour before the main show. I won't be here for the full hour because even Kev Baker's show needs to eat sometimes. And I know I hear people saying, oh, Kev, you do need to eat. You're looking very thin out there. I've always looked like this, folks. It's the way I am. Built like a racehorse, like a proper, like a greyhound. That's what it is. I'm telling you, built for speed, not comfort. Not for the apocalypse, I know that. But, yeah, it's getting a bit silly, isn't it, guys and girls and everything else out there? Really, I mean, come on. Have any of us come across anyone that's, like, been troubled by a full stop before? Have you ever had a phone call from somebody you've texted and they've said, listen, I've been up all night. I've been kind of anxious. You like, finished our sentence with a full stop? I mean, did you mean anything by it? That conversation has never taken place. And if anyone approaches you with that conversation, hang up on them immediately. Hang up on them. Refuse to interact with these people altogether. Oh, I'm only joking, folks. I'm not that bad. Don't cut off family members just because of full stops. It's not worth it. There is a smiley face, real bad person. Yep, you're right there, Armand. You are right there. Tessa says, I'm a sexy jockey Kev. I like that. Is that a jockey or jokey? I'd be a good jockey. Many people said that to me back in school when they were looking down at me. Maybe they just about stood on me. You'd make a great jockey, wee man. Maybe I missed my... I was going to say I missed my boat, but in this case it'd be missed my horse, right? I don't know. Where are we going? Oh, I remember where we're going. Maybe we won't need to send text messages very soon. Especially the Generation Z that was really talking about. Why won't we need to use language soon? Because we really are literally, whether you love it or like it, love it or like it, love it or hate it, we are about to be online. Later this week, my man, Elon. Oh no, I'm going to have to face a barrage of emails and messages of people saying, I told you so, he's evil. He's Satan. He's the devil incarnate, so he is. We're going to get a demonstration of the Neuralink. Okay? And back in July, SpaceX founder Elon Musk announced an event that he said would show off technology by Neuralink, a startup that's working on an interface between human brains and computers. This is what he tweeted out. We'll show neurons firing in real time on August the 28th. And he continued, the Matrix in the Matrix. Oh, we're there, folks. The uncanny valley. That's what 2020 is. We're in the middle of the uncanny valley. We've dipped down from where we once were. Normality, whatever that was, and now we're right in it. We're crossing the uncanny valley. It just gets stranger from here on in, which is good news for me and even better news for you. Why? Because there's going to be more and more content for us to come here and get a laugh at and go over and look into. And folks, as time goes on and I get my body clock sorted out and I'm still not up half the night and I've got more time during the day and etc., we're going to do more in-depth kind of streaming. You know, we're going to look at things. We'll get the disco involved, the Discord, I mean, and we'll be able to do that, right? But that's on me. I need to get the whole body clock thing sorted and get my own kind of life in order and deal with this thing with full stops before I do anything. Just messing me up totally. I've not been able to do anything for a week. A guest I was trying to get onto the show messaged me back. There was 5 full stops in there. I have no idea what they mean. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. But it says now, with that date coming up on Friday, and I think we might do some kind of simulcast thing with that. I would like to think that Neuralink and Elon Musk aren't copywriting their content, and maybe we could do some kind of reaction to what they show us there, because this is big news. All joking aside for a moment, I'll get back to the joking, but this is huge, folks. Really, really huge. And there's so many ways you can approach this. I tend to approach it from the more optimistic side, okay? The side that they try to sell us on, I get that. But when you're talking about helping people with, you know, problems in the brain injuries, people that are paralyzed, things like that, you can't take away the advantages that a technology like this brings with it. And I get it. It's like any technology. On the other side of that, you've got that whole Borg mind, transhuman thing. I get it. I totally get it. I'm trying to focus on the positive as much as I can. Any story I come to, I can't be bothered being negative about everything all the time anymore. It's not who I am in the real world, and it's not what you need to hear out there either. Sure, we see the negative side of it. We can definitely talk about that, but for today, let's just keep it kind of vague. We'll just go over it because there's something else I want to talk to you about that's even weirder than this. And it shows you the weird world of science that we're now living in. I think, anyway, right? It says, what that means is up for interpretation, but Musk, as is his habit, has already set the expectations for the startup sky high. He's good at that. He's a brilliant kind of frontman. All your big entrepreneurs, they've got to have that kind of that streak about him. And I think his weirdness is his shtick. Uh, It's just my thoughts. The profound impact of high bandwidth, high precision neural interfaces is underappreciated, he tweeted back in February. Neuralink may have this in a human as soon as this year. Now, that line has led some speculation that Musk could be announcing human trials of the secretive company's technology during the Friday event. But for now, we're going to have to wait and see. Now, I'm certainly going to be tuning into this, folks, big time. This is, by definition, biohacking in its purest form. Literally hacking the human brain. And it's biohacking that I want to talk about for a moment, because that's some of the weirdest, wackiest science out there. And there happens to be a TV show now over on Netflix that is called Biohackers. Now, it's a German TV show, and no shock, it's about biohacking, but I want you to get a load of this, right? It's a TV show, granted, but just listen to this. So it says Biohackers, the world's first original series in DNA. They have only gone and stored literally the entire season, like it says there on the tin, in DNA. Now, we've talked on the show before about how DNA can be used as a storage medium. One of the most amazing storage mediums known, may I add. No shock there. Nature always produces the best, right? But thanks to biohacking and their knowledge of the genome now, and how to play about with genes and chromosomes and CRISPR in particular, they're chopping, they're copying, they're pasting, they're tweaking, they're doing all sorts. And this TV show is a really good take and a really good kind of introduction to the world of biohacking. It's a German show, but it's got English dubbing over the top. That kind of thing doesn't put me off, especially when the story's good. It's quite high value production, and if you're into this kind of technology stuff, if you're into sci-fi, probably a good shout to check that show out. But it says the Netflix original series, I'll blow it up a bit there, Biohackers, launches on August the 20th. A gripping science thriller starring Luna Welder and Jessica Schwartz in the leading roles. And the series is about a revolutionary biotechnologies and genetic engineering, and about how much is already possible in the field today. And to give you an example of biohacking, synthetic biology, if we call it that for a moment, we talk about AI a heck of a lot on here and on my show and on many other shows out there. AI is a big thing. But biohacking's right up there, and synthetic biology in particular, it's right up there alongside AI when it comes to countries and governments trying to develop this technology. Yet not enough people, in my opinion, not the ones I follow anyway, are talking about this kind of thing. And this is literally, you're talking literally changing our base code, playing about with it, doing things we ain't meant to be doing. One example they show in the show is a tablet. Now, I'm yet to research this, but I am 90% confident that when I do, this is the kind of, like it says here, the series is about how much is already possible in this field today, hidden in plain sight, showing you what's already out there, put it in a drama series so you go, it's just a TV show, right? Because I bet you 90% of the people who watch it will never even visit the website. They won't realise that some of the things that they're seeing in there is a glimpse into not the future, But today, one of the funnier things they show you in there is how they tweak a PPP plant. Yeah. And they put in some bioluminescence kind of gene that they cut it in with CRISPR. And literally this stuff's glowing, glowing in the dark. You know, you take a puff it, your lips are glowing. It's crazy. They've got that today, right? So it says here, to demonstrate this, we have turned the series itself into a biotechnological experiment. Biohackers became the first Netflix original series to be stored in DNA. Just think about that, eh? Just think about it. Now, listen, they've been storing things in DNA for a while. This is nothing new. There's books, there's movies. They've been doing this. But not enough people talking about it, if you ask me. How is the series embedded in DNA? Binary codes from the basics for the handling of digital information. This means that the Biohackers episode consists of a sequence of ones and zeros. The binary code is transformed into a DNA code, a sequence of the 4 nucleobases or DNA building blocks: adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. DNA sequences are then generated from this code. Each individual sequence is about 150 nucleobases long. And to preserve this DNA, millions of tiny DNA strands were embedded in nano-sized glass beads. The beads are then added to a gel-like fluid, and the amount of fluid in this DNA tube contains about 1 million copies of the Biohackers episode. You can access the complete DNA code for the first episode of Biohackers here. Can you decode it? And actually, it's telling you to download that. I'm not too sure I want to download anything from them. This is probably in German. We might get hit for something that is in German, so probably not too much point showing it anyway. But yeah, that's while we talk about the wokeness and the weirdness in the world, maybe sometimes I'm quite guilty of maybe not taking my eye off the weird science, but certainly bringing it onto the stream. But with Elon Musk's presentation very much on the horizon on Friday, the ultimate biohack, in my opinion, cracking into somebody's skull with a nano thread-like device, and basically putting you online, putting your brain online. Let's break it down and be very basic and rudimentary about it. You're going online. That's you. You're networked in. Welcome to the Borg. Telling you, man, crazy. When you get that in, when you go to bed at night, you know how he likes his little jokes, how he makes the cars dance and things like that. Is it going to say game over? It's going to say rest mode? Are you going to see that in your head when you go to sleep? Rest mode, please. It's not clean out. Maybe you'll be able to do that. You blink twice and I don't know, maybe somebody's profile will come up in your head, in your mind's eye. Is that what it's hijacking? Is it? Because I think our third eye, our mind's eye, the pineal gland, if there is a natural cosmic superhighway of wooing information and everything that was, is, and will ever be out there, the Akashic Records, the quantum field, whatever you want to call it, I think that's our router. I think that's our way in. I think that is, the thing that gets us in there. So what happens when somebody comes along and kind of tweaks it, updates the firmware, or in this case, updates your hardware, version 2.0 online. Just saying, folks, just saying. And then they were also, one little thing they gave away in that TV show as well, and I'm not giving away too much, I've hardly watched any of it anyway, but from looking at your DNA, and bear in mind how many people send their DNA to companies like 23andMe, Ancestry DNA, blah, 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 all these places. one of the main characters in it, who's a boffin and all this, one of the kind of pioneers of CRISPR and biohacking and gene therapy and all this stuff. She gives away that when they have your full genetic sequence, in many cases, now this is a line that they use in the show, and bearing in mind, all I have to go on is that the website itself says that it's to give you a glimpse as to what they can do today and what they know. They're able to tell your expiry date to the day in many cases. What does that mean when companies like 23andMe, DNA Ancestry, or Ancestry DNA, whatever they're called, all these companies that have been taking your DNA just so you can get a little glimpse into your family tree to find out you've had a Slovakian farmer as a great uncle or something? Cracking. There's a company that now knows to the very day when you're going to be here. I bet you didn't know that. We'll be back in a minute, folks. Don't go anywhere. Now, I don't know about you, but the full stops I can live with. Biohacking on this scale, dang dude, where does it lead to? I would say nobody knows, but the AI already does. Don't panic, I'm not going anywhere yet, folks. I'm not going anywhere. Just going to drink a coffee, PPP, pulling up a quick story before we go, and then get ready for the Kev Baker Show on TFRlive.com. I'll be back very soon. Ah, yes, let's see what the chat are saying. And Karen, my good friend Karen, the gherkin in there. Gherkins, how you doing? Not gerbils, definitely gherkins. Not even the same kind of species, not even the same form of life. But said I would hack time. Makes you wonder, right? And this is just something I thought of when I read that message there, but if you take the Neuralink for argument's sake, you know, just for an example, and you've increased the processing power of your brain, okay, you're able to think about multiple things all at one time, many processes, much more processes going on than there are right now. Does that result in the individual, me in this example, right? Would I start to experience time differently then? Because there's one common thing in all of the sci-fi that I read about AI and quantum and all this stuff. It's that because the AI functions so much more, much more fast, doing so much more computations, doing so many more different tasks, literally creating mini-me's to go off and do other menial tasks. With all of that processing going on at once, the AI is always 99% of the time in fiction depicted as really yawning when it comes to like waiting for us to talk, like for us to say something, for me to say a sentence without a full stop, because that would trigger people, and it would be weird putting a full stop into a spoken sentence anyway. My name is Kevin, full stop. I would start sounding like AI, right? But That communication, it only takes a couple of seconds, granted, but it's instant when you're an AI. If you're two neural linked people thinking to each other. And if you can communicate faster, almost download to each other, does then your perception, time doesn't change, time's that thing we've put a measure on, okay? But does our perception of the way time passes then change? Interesting. Usually takes me about a month to read a book, some people a day. Imagine reading a book in like 5 seconds. It's all downloaded into you, you know it, as if you've read it. Weird, right? Really weird. Really weird. Full song downloaded into the head, and even that first time you listen to it, you replay it in your mind, you already know it because you heard it when you were downloading it. It's in there. It's familiar to you already, you know? Damn, dude. Even myself, I'm guilty of this. How many of you, when you're watching YouTube, in particular if it's somebody that's talking, oral word, how often do you click the option to speed the video up? I know I do. We're slowly, organically wanting that input, that throughput to increase. We're getting impatient to wait for it. It's all down to that attention span thing again. And I was having to say to Bill and Travis the other night when we came off air, you know, I was saying to them, guys, when you see me flicking about channels and things like that, and flicking about cameras and going from this one to that one and taking you over here for a break and coming back here, that in itself, but that's one way that me as an individual, a streamer, can try and keep your attention in the way our minds work today. You stare at something too long and it's too drawn out in your brain, it's wanting more. Our brains, with the information that they've had bombarded at it in the past 20 years, say, internet age, I think our brains are now starting to look for a higher bandwidth. That sounds weird, doesn't it? Doesn't it? How many of you do speed up the videos? Because that's one example that I've consciously thought of when I've been doing it. But why do I need to speed it up? Why do I need to put it to 1.5 speed? And it is, when I've thought about it, it's like, damn, my brain's craving that information faster so they can get on to the next thing. Maybe the brain's craving to be able to go up a level or two. We only use 10% of it, right? We only use 10%. What happens when we use just 20%? What happens if you get near 100%? I don't think we can handle that. I don't think we can handle that. I think that's what the AI is. Not literally, but I think that's what it's computing at. That's what it's akin to. That's what it's similar to. And I've talked about some of the good stuff that can come from AI before. And that was one of the headlines I'd got at the start of the stream. I've asked numerous guests about this, and I want to say this is like something I can say I told you so, but it was a bit of a no-brainer, right? I'll hold that up. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. AI just confirmed the existence of 50 planets by digging through NASA data. You see, we've already probably found alien worlds out there. We've probably already received alien signals, but we didn't know what we were looking at. And because there's such a vast amount of data that is still to be looked over, and maybe it has been looked over, but because AI is designed to find the nuggets of gold, it's designed to pick out one grain of sand in a beach of sand. It'll find it, and it'll find things that we didn't find before. I remember asking Brendan Drackler. I remember asking Brian Keating as well. You know, the guy that wrote A Noble Lie. What, a Noble? I can't remember the name of the damn book now. But Brian Keating, anyway. Anytime I think we've been speaking like about AI and data mining, I've always said, you know, the potential for AI to find things in the data that's already here, That's exciting. And now we're starting to see that it is finding 50 in this case. But if it found 50 on this sweep, and by the time that recursive neural network goes over the data again and gets better and better every time, it may start to find other signatures, other things we never even thought of looking for. You know, there's another weird kind of story that fits in with us out there right now. And one of these fast radio bursts. It's back again, folks. Mysterious radio burst from a galaxy 3 billion light years away that appears to repeat every 157 days. Woke up right on schedule. When it comes to something like that, I really do. My sci-fi mind goes into overdrive because that sounds like some kind of repeating message, literally. We send out messages all the time from our planet. Arecibo telescope before it got damaged. Remember we spoke about that yesterday. And listen, it's highly feasible, plausible that if there are aliens out there that have been communicating just like we do, throwing it out there, casting their net far and wide, just sending signals out. And for whatever reason, we get this signal every 157 days. Does that mean it's rotating around something? Does that mean the face only? I don't know, but it's super cool. And if these are the ones that we're picking up by conventional human means, imagine what's going to happen when you unleash the AI to look at all the data they've already amassed from over the years that they've been storing it. Exciting times. And then that can play into the old disclosure and Project Bluebeam. And what would be essential for Project Bluebeam? I'll tell you what would be essential for Project Bluebeam. It would be a chip in your head. One that they could talk directly into your dome. One that they could show you anything they wanted to, because you would see it with your eyes. Only you don't see anything with your eyes, folks. You know that. Your eyes don't see a thing. Your eyes are basically webcams that they take in the light signal, and then that's transferred into what? An electrical signal by the optic nerve, and it goes into your brain. You see in your brain. See how they can hijack the sky and make you see anything you see at that point. Oh, damn, dude. So with all of that to burst your head and a couple of full stops, period, in there, I'm going to take one more drink of coffee. I'll come back, I'll chill out in the chat room, and then we'll get over to the main show. Oh, it's been a good one. What's wrong, Anne? Is your head burst? Anne's head's burst. Whoa, stop the bus, stop the bus. Saint Marionette, I'm the general manager of a retail donut shop. Oh, you just became my best friend. Me, I love lots of donuts. Lots of donuts. I will talk about anything for donuts. I take donations in donuts. Please send your donuts too. I'm only joking, but donuts, damn, you've given me the munchies. Yes, you have. Ah, Sam says, thankfully, my eyes can see this stream and the chat. And thankfully, for now, I can see you, Sam. I can. Yes, indeed. Now, what else we got going on in here? Polly says that AI has concluded that we never went to the moon. Wouldn't surprise me. What else we got? Let's see. Basic material says Shakespeare. In a day, there are many moments. In a moment, there are many days. Oh, I like that. I really do like that, dude. I like that one. Yeah. Let's see. Donuts have the best smile. Jules has got coffee. St. Marionette has got donuts. Connie has got sherbet. Damn, that was good. That was an experience. That was like 3 or 4 days I'll probably never get back. Thank you, Connie. Absolutely delightful. That took me to a new plane of thinking altogether. Absolutely. Talking of planes, did you see that Elon Musk might be making an electric plane? Perhaps. I don't know. I've seen it on Twitter, so take it with a pinch of salt. Let's see. I can't. I can't get past the coffee and donuts. Oh, damn. Damn. King's making people hungry. What's he saying? What's he talking about? I don't know. But yeah, Anne's head's burst. I burst her head talking about biohacking and things like that. The Neuralink might be required for Anne to keep up. Keep up with the speed of the Kev when I go into that kind of zone. Maybe I should get the chip. Do you think I should get the chip just for like streaming purposes, just for the shit of it? I don't think so either. Maybe, you know, hey, if you want to take things to the next level, maybe if we want to go to that next level, we'll get a whole new army of subscribers and people in the chat. That's terrifying. I wouldn't even want that. But I reckon biohacking yourself, putting a chip in, that'd be the way to go. But if this kind of sci-fi stuff does interest you, I really wholeheartedly recommend you check out that Netflix show, Biohackers. It's one of those ones where I kind of went into it with, don't know, a bit wishy-washy. I was glued. After 10 minutes, I was kind of, oh. And it's one of those ones where next episode, will I, won't I? Okay. Woulda, shoulda, click. It's already done. So, people still talking about donuts. Did I give everyone the munchies? Oh, you did. You did. Absolutely.
How dare
How
you?
dare you? How dare you, Saint Marionette? What was that, Greta? What was that? Yeah, I've decided to name the cone Greta. That Coney is now Greta. So I can speak to her on my very squeaky mic arm that keeps on falling down. I need a new mic arm, folks. It's all going wrong. Not a bionic arm, a mic arm. Maybe I could get body hacked and just have an appendage that comes out here. Get myself some Spidey arms or something that climb over and drop a mic in front of me. That'll be the next thing. Give it a couple of months, 6 months, there'll be somebody running a GoFundMe campaign for a Spidey arm that comes over the back with a microphone to stream there. Maybe be able to build in some kind of GoPro to the shoulder. Maybe get a GoPro on your forehead. Maybe be able to put one of them in there. You can just turn yourself into like a living like security drone. You could maybe you could put literally eyes in the back of your head, couldn't you? I mean, if you've got the chip in there, all you got to do is put a couple of webcams on. You don't even have to like surgically get them in there. Just stick them on. You're gonna have like a rear view mirror in your mind's eye. How cool is that? How awesome is that? So that means if I'm ever walking down the high street with Anne and I happen to see one of the fairer sex looking rather nice, instead of walking behind them, I can walk in front of them and never get caught. Never get caught. You see, practical life hacking tips can come from biohacking. I can see good stuff in this. I'm only joking, folks. It gets a whole lot weirder. When you watch that show, you'll see some of the things that they throw out there. And having read that website, you know it's not just fiction. You know this is one of the kind of, well, normalize it. It's happening right now. It's going on. It might be a bit more underground at the moment, but I can guarantee you, if we were to know the amount of people who had already hacked themselves, be it genetically or just more modifying themselves with chips or whatever, it would be absolutely startling. I really do think that. I really wholeheartedly believe that. I don't think we appreciate just how far down this road into the uncanny valley we are. Some are nearly across it, and what lies across the other side of the uncanny valley, I don't know. I really don't know. It's not Speculation Island over there, I tell you that. Speculation Island is way the other way. Way the other way. In fact, Speculation Island at this point might even be on a different planet. I truly do believe that. It's a far simpler place. Punctuation still goes. I'm sorry, folks. I'm not getting rid of punctuation on Speculation Island. That could be a problem saying punctuation on Speculation Island many times if you were drunk, almost like seashells by the... You know how that goes. So I don't know what I'm talking about now. So that means it's time for me to go. Marty, you never miss anything. Because, like the TV show Biohackers, it might not be stored in your DNA yet, but YouTube's got a cool button. You just press it back. You'll be fine. You'll be good. And it's been a good one, Marty. Sometimes I tell people not to bother. It might just be a waste of your time. But no, it's been valuable information today. You need to hear what I've been giving to you today. The whole world will change after you hear it. Well, maybe not, but you get me. You get me. Sam says... Oh, somebody's asking me a question. Okay, where are we? What's the video where you had a guest on talking about not sure. Try to think who that might have been. Maybe Charlie, maybe. Possibly, I think we spoke about that. Charlie Robinson. That would have been last week on Monday, would it have been? Yep. I think that was the show. I think. Maybe Scotty. Can't quite remember. Oh, damn it. It's on not the tip of my tongue, because my tongue isn't in my mind, but it's definitely in my mind. I'm trying to think. If I remember it, Kevin McCairn could be. It could be. I was watching Kevin yesterday. Kevin was taking on one of his detractors, Dr. Paul Cottrell. I love Kevin McCairn. I do. I find him... he's like me. If I met Kevin in real life, I know I would get on with him absolutely brilliantly. More breaking news, but it's garbage. But Sally, I'm sorry I can't answer that further because I honestly can't remember if it was Charlie or not. I think it was. But not sure. And if you need to get a hold of me like that, Sully. Sorry, I called you Sully. Sally a moment ago. Sully. Sorry, I stand corrected. Especially on our show where I've been making such a big deal about punctuation and not so much pronunciation, but still, it's only fair I get your name right. Never miss a show again. Absolutely. Oh, somebody talking about apple fritters now. Come on, King. Pineapple fritter. Oh, that after my donut. Oh, a large, steaming hot, flat white. Oh, I'm a simple man to please, ladies and gents. It might have been Kevin. Yeah, it might have been Dr. Kevin McCairn. It might have been. You can easily find him. Marty, I think Marty usually... I usually see Marty on other streams as well. We do turn up in the same places very often, Marty. That's good, though. That's good. I know that we're on the same page. Yeah, there we go. CJ, I watch you at 1.25 speed. Absolutely. I do it often as well, brother. And maybe I overthink things too much, but that's why I'm thinking our brains are almost ready, that they're wanting more throughput. It's like AI. AI craves data, right? Maybe our brains are craving more and more as well. That's a weird thing, isn't it? I don't know. pineapple fritter. Nom 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 nom. So then, listen, I need to get out of here. I need to go and reshift. And reshift? Where the hell did that come from? Full stop, period. Triggered people.
How dare you?
You done that yourself, Greta. I didn't even press the button that time. Oh, I did. Okay. Dave pressed the button. I felt my arm involuntary pressing the button. Begley had his grandson on his show recently and seemed fairly normal considering how nutty his granddad is. You just know that people that go to school with a grandson or whatever, they're like, Mum will go round and see your grandpa. Mum will go round and see him. Mum will go and see what he's up to. What he's up to today. Come on. And the wee guys probably, not again. Oh, no. They're probably pulling up YouTube all the time. And you know how I know this? Because that's what my son had to go through. And I don't think I make a big as fool of myself as, well, I can't say that because it would be having a go at our creator. And we've all got to love each other on this platform. Can't say anything bad about anyone. But seriously? On that note, folks, keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo. Hey, Sully is happy, found the video. Marty's happy, King's happy. Reset, shift gears, get ready for KBS on TFR Live. Thanks, guys. Thanks. You sorted me. This is brilliant. You even, write the script now. This is so cool. I'll be back in 16 minutes on the main Kev Baker show today. I want to thank you for being here on our very cool Chillax live stream. And on that note, in the next couple of days, keep your eyes open if you want to support the show further. Memberships are coming back. I just need to post the video to entice you all in to the KBS Woo Zone. Yep, Tessa's happy. King's happy. That's what we want. We want happy people.